Hey, Evie and others who may be watching wanted to take a look at some different looking protractors. Unfortunately, I don't have a metal one with me, but I'm going to show you what we would do with a metal one as well. The most basic protractor is what's pictured in your textbook. And it's this one here. I believe Helix makes one that looks a lot like this. Fiskars is the one I've got. The point is it's clear. There's a hole that you can see for the vertex, and there's a line that runs along the hole. The easiest way to use it, as I showed before, and the book shows this as well, you're going to line up the black line right along the one side of the angle and make sure that the vertex is right there in the hole, in the center of the hole ideally. Now you can see that this angle almost points perfectly at the 130, but it's really hard to tell. I'm going to caution you against gambling. Don't gamble that it really is the 130. Take a moment, line up your protractor with the line. Now notice, I'm not on top of the line. You can see there's a little tiny bit of space between the line and the edge, just a little bit. You're going to use that then and just run your pencil right along the edge real small, okay? And then once you've done that, then you can line it up and the line will actually go through the protractor. And it is indeed a perfect 130, but this way we didn't have to wonder. Now you say, well, wait a second. Up here it says 50, down here it says 130. Which one is it? Well, is this an acute or obtuse angle? Clearly obtuse. We're going to say it's 130 degrees. Let's take a look at this next angle. Same protractor here. We're again, line it up, make sure the center, the vertex rather, is in the very center of the hole. Make sure the black line is lined up neatly with the other line. Again, it looks like it's pointing at the 50-degree angle, but again, just to make sure, line up that edge, make an extension. Get all of this indicated on page 153, and we see, whoa, wait a second. It's not perfectly 50. It's going through, if you notice here. Now, here you see there's not tick marks on the inside. But you see right here, there is a tick mark here, and you can see that the gray line, if you look carefully, goes right to this tick mark. That's one tick mark shy of this line, which is the 5130 line. That means it's not quite 50, it's 49 degrees. Now, what if you couldn't see through this protractor? Let me zoom out just a little bit. I feel like I'm a bit close here. What if you couldn't see through it? Well, if you couldn't see through it, imagine that then when I line up the hole, I can't really line up the black line because I can't see through. So what I've told the people with the metal protractors is you're going to have to extend not just the one edge you're trying to read, you're going to have to extend your starting edge. You're going to have to extend it a fair bit. So what you're going to do then is line this up, and you're not looking for the black line here. You're looking for right here where the 180 is to line up. So we want the vertex centered, and we want the 180-degree mark to line up out here with the outer edge. Now I'm also going to need to extend this edge here. So I've got this line. Is that you, Ms. Robideau? I guess not. We're going to need to line this up with the 180. And then this here looks like you can see where it kind of hits right there. It hits just a tick mark shy of, see how there the 5 would be? This would be 70, 75. Well, this is, on this it says 105. It's 75, but a tick shy. 74 degrees. Let's look at another protractor. This one's a little smaller, and it doesn't have any of the gaps, which is kind of nice. So again, what we're going to need to do, though, is still line up. In this case, it's the little T shape right here with this vertex. And then this line that goes toward the 0 is going to need to line up with the one edge of the angle. All right, so you can see that I've got this line running along the edge. I've got the T sitting right in the vertex. And we can actually see this time that my line kind of feels like it runs right along this 120-60 line. Now, if I wanted to be really extra accurate, I could use the bottom edge of the protractor, extend it out a little bit. And again, drop the T right in the corner, make sure this line lines up perfectly. And okay, not quite along the 120 line, Looks like it's just a tick mark past the 8 where here's 60, here's, it looks like it'd be 61, and I just realized I'm not on this on the camera anymore. So it looks like if this is 110, this would be 115, this would be 119. Now, to be fair, if you called this 50, if you called this 75, if you called this 120, I'd probably give it to you on a quiz or test. You're a degree off. If you're within about 3 degrees one way or the other, I'm probably going to give it to you, but we want to be as accurate as possible. Notice this little guy here, this little tiny angle. Again, not a whole lot to work off of. You might have a protractor like this one that doesn't have a line that goes all the way across. Also, unfortunately, I noticed when they drilled the hole, they didn't drill this hole perfectly. Zoom in just a little. Do you see how the hole's not perfectly at the crisscross intersection? That's going to cause a problem. So this is a poorly made protractor. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. So what you want to do is instead of lining up the vertex in the center of the hole, I want to take this vertex here. I want to make sure that the line coming up above and below lines up with it. I just need to make sure that this black line here lines up with the edge. So right there, even though the dot isn't in the middle of the hole, the vertex is lined up correctly. Now again, I can't even begin to see it, so it looks like it goes somewhere around 20. But again, to see it, you're going to need to extend that other side. By the way, you notice that all I'm showing are clear ones. That's because that's all I ever buy. So we've got this lined up. Notice where the edge goes through. Here's 20. They got a tick mark for 21, 22. It's actually a nudge past 22. We could say 22 and a half. I would take 22 degrees, probably more accurately. We'd say this is a 22 and a half degree angle. For this last one, I'm going to start out smart. I'm going to start out by extending the line right off the bat. I already know I'm going to need to. Why would I wait? Right? Why would I start lining everything up and then realize, oh, I've got to do it? Why waste my time? Start by extending the line. Again, we want to line up the 2 notches so that the bottom notch right here, which is right at 3 inches, lines up perfectly, and make sure that this line across lines up perfectly. Notice as we go, the angle's opening this direction. So we got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, not quite to 100. Notice it kind of lines up with that 2 tick marks away from the 100. That means this would be a 108 degree angle. Anyway, hopefully seeing it with actual protractors of various kinds helps. Again, this is my favorite right here. It's got the most little tick marks on it. I also like that if you're wanting to use it as a ruler later, you could use both inches or centimeters, which again is just a useful tool because most of the line segments we may measure one day won't actually be full, need a full ruler. 6-inch ruler, 10-centimeter measurement, decimeter you could say, works well. So anyway, that's my recommendation. Really don't like the metallic ones, the solid ones, prefer see-through, but you can make it work. And hopefully you were able to figure that out from this video.